A couple of things that I think I would have done differently and wish I had known was, well, one about Disability Digest and the resources that you had, but also the need to, well, two things is the need to network and see who is in your sphere of influence or anywhere around that has access or knowledge of the disability process and what needs to be done, what, like you said, what their expectations are, because that would have saved me a whole lot of trouble, to put it mildly. Also, had I known, well, not that anybody really knows that something is going to happen like this, but I would encourage anybody to try to save up some type of nest egg for emergencies. Like, having certain amount for, set aside for rent and food, utilities ahead of time, and that type of thing. Because I ended up doing it. I applied twice on my own and was reading different things, but hadn't come across that Disability Digest. But I, been reading things, and I applied twice. And in that process, I pretty much lost everything. And before I got to that final end, I found out that someone who I practiced martial arts with actually worked in disability down at the legal aspect of it. He couldn't be in part of my, working. He couldn't work with me, but he recommended somebody to work with. And so from there, I was able to know what the process was, and also being a stickler for having your doctors on board and having all of that documented. Even the least thing, having it all documented and not being, afraid to tell your doctor what might be happening. I forgot who was the in military, and like you was talking about, they may, and I hope I'm not talking too much.
You're doing great.
They may, pain level might be a 9 and they rate it as a 5. And so having gone through martial arts and different things like that most of my life, we're told to walk it off, shake it off, push past our human limitations and all that stuff. And so it got to the point where there was no pushing past. And having to actually admit that it's a hard thing when you have to admit that, and you have to go toward disability, because that was the last thing I expected. And so when I found that I couldn't even mop my floor without being in severe pain, it was like, this doesn't make any sense. So being able to admit to the doctors what your pain level is, having them document it, being around a network of people, and finding out who might have some insight on getting through the disability process. So, hopefully I didn't talk too much with that.
No. And listen, I want to thank you. That's, yeah, my sense is you're speaking right from the heart. That was very valuable information. 20 of us in the room could have said the same thing, but the way you delivered it, I thought was great. So appreciate that.